The role of discipline in accelerating national development. The armed forces of India have stood for the most precious attribute that we in India lack today: discipline. In whatever sphere we operate, we are glaring examples of violation of basic discipline umpteen times a day. It is therefore appropriate that I talk about the role of discipline in accelerating national development. First, let me talk a little bit about where we stand today with regard to national development. Since the reforms in 1991, India's GDP has grown at an average rate of 6% a year, thus making India one of the fastest growing developing countries in the world. Poverty in the country has fallen from over 34% at the beginning of 1990s to 26% in 2003, based on purchasing power parity. India is the fourth largest economy in the world after USA, China, Japan. A Goldman Sachs study suggests that economic growth in India can exceed in China's by 2015. It estimates that India can overtake Britain in 2022 and Japan in 2032 to become the third biggest economy in the world after China and the USA. I would define a country as developed if it has provided the ingredients for quality of life for every one of its citizens: education, healthcare, nutrition, shelter, clean environment, opportunities to get ahead in life, and most importantly, a confidence that the current generation of citizens is doing everything to make the country a better society for future citizens. Development is a state of mind. It centers in a mindset of equity, fairness, hope, confidence, can do spirit, and a developed nation creates and implements policies that engender an equitable and sustainable future for all its citizens. Let us look at where we are today from the perspective, the vision outlined by the Indian government in 1956 of a poverty-free India with full employment of 25 years by 1981 still eludes, as India is ranked 127th among 177 countries of the Human Development Index. 260 million Indians are below the poverty line, a poverty line defined not by global standards but as defined by India itself. Adult literacy is at 36.9%. Over the 300 million people in India are illiterate, the largest mass of illiterates in the world. Over 25 million children in the country are out of school. Malnourishment strikes half of all Indian children, and India accounts for 1 out of every 5 child deaths in the world every year. The unemployment in India is estimated at around 10%. India will add 325 million people to the working population by 2016. This demographic would be a boon if we could provide gainful employment to the youth, or it could be a curse if they are idle and despondent. To bring these youths into the mainstream, India has to create 10 million jobs a year in the next 5 years. However, the economy has been adding only around a million new jobs a year at most. Clearly, India faces significant immediate challenges in economic development. Can we overcome these challenges? I believe we can. Since the odds are in favor, for the first time Since the Industrial Revolution, India has been recognized as a global distributor in a field that is a high tech field. Today, Indians are known as dynamic entrepreneurs, and the country is becoming increasingly hot destination for foreign investment. There is enormous goodwill for the country in international capital markets. Well known journalists like Thomas Friedman have been gushing about India. We must seize this short of window of opportunity to achieve rapid economic growth. However, every euphoric conversation about India ends in a whimper with questions like why is there so much corruption in our country? Why can't you have better infrastructure? Why can't you have a more responsive bureaucracy? Why can't you implement universal primary education and solve the problem of literacy? Why do you still have child labor? Somehow it is difficult to reconcile India, a country with a rich ancient civilization and a modern high tech capability, and such questions.
কবি শঙ্কর ঘোষের কবিতা যমুনাবতী। নিভন্ত এই চুল্লিতে মা একটু আগুন দে, আর একটু কাল বেঁচেই থাকি বাঁচার আনন্দে। নটন নটন পায়রাগুলি খাঁচাতে বন্দি, দু এক মুঠো ভাত পেলে তা ওড়াতে মন্দি। হায় তোকে ভাত দেবো কি করে যে ভাত, ভাত দেবো হায়, হায় তোকে ভাত দেবো কি দিয়ে যে ভাত দে হায়। নিভন্ত এই চললি তবে একটু আগুন দে, হাড়ের শিরায় শিখার মাতন মরার আনন্দে। দুই পারে দই রুই কাতলার মারো নিফন্দি, বাঁচার আশায় হাত হাতিয়ার মৃত্যুতে মন দে। বর্গিনা টর্গিনা কাকে কে সামলায়, ধার চকচকে থাবা দেখছো না হামলায়। যাসনে ও হামলায় যাসনে, কন্যা কন্যার মায়ের ধমনীতে আকুল ঢেউ তোলে, জলে না মায়ের কান্নায় মেয়ের রক্তের উষ্ণ হাহাকার মরে না। চলল মেয়ে রণে চলল, বাজে না ডম্বরো অস্ত্র ঝনঝন করে না, জানল না কেউ তা। চলল মেয়ে রণে চলল, পেশির দৃঢ় ব্যথা, মুঠোর দৃঢ় কথা, চোখের দৃঢ় জ্বালা সঙ্গে। চলল মেয়ে রণে চলল, নেকড়েও জোর মৃত্যু এলো মৃত্যুর গান গা। মায়ের চোখে বাপের চোখে দু তিনটে গঙ্গা, দুর্বাতে তার রক্ত লেগে সহস্র সঙ্গে। যাকে ঝক ধক ধক যজ্ঞে ঢালে সহস্র মন খেয়ে। যমুনাবতী সরস্বতী কাল